Yes.
Thank you. I've met some of you already before. My name is Ben Nunley. I have a condition called Meniere's disease. It causes vertigo and nausea. And I have a unique position here in the state of Kentucky. I have the legal right to use medical cannabis to treat my disease. If you would like the legal documents, I'm sad that Senator Cashman had to just leave, but he has a copy of my legal documents. And Senator Nevins has a copy of my legal documents. Cannabis is not a gateway drug. It's an exit medicine. I'm going to say that again. Cannabis is not a gateway drug. It's an exit medicine. So I think it will work great with House Bill 1 and perhaps Senator Castleman's bill for the substance abuse, because most of those studies for substance abuse is from alcohol, pills like opioids, Xanax, Klonopin, Valium, whatever you want to name. And then, meth. But, there are some states where there is cannabis involved in some small cases, but generally not. 2 judges here locally agreed with me, Judges Julie Gordon and Judges Joe Castlin. He agreed with me as well that I could raise my kids without fear of losing them and treat with medical cannabis. But more studies needed to be done. There's always more studies. Anyway, so it went to Frankfort, our Kentucky, our state capital, the Kentucky State Court of Appeals. A 3-judge panel had to rule in my favor again, and they agreed with me. They were Judges Dixon, Lambert, and Smallwood. They agree that cannabis was the best way to treat my condition. So what I'm getting at is, in this particular situation, can't we all, and the House voted in favor of it 2-1 already, so that's great. Let's just keep this thing going. Can we all get along, since the Kentucky legal system has already agreed that I can benefit from cannabis? I have no doubt that we can all agree that we can help thousands and thousands and thousands of Kentuckians like myself that can benefit from medical cannabis and get safe access. There's only one senator left. I mean, if you care, it looks like you might be able to get swayed on this when you say you got some more studies you need to do. I'd love to be able to get you on board with this. Thank you.
We did pass it in the House, and I want people to go out there and look at that bill and read it to its entirety so that they understand. This is a very, very narrow scope of what we voted on out of the House, and it came a long way. One of the items, the advertising side of it, we added an amendment that you can't advertise it. I'll give the perfect example was as soon as they legalized the medical marijuana in Las Vegas. I was out there shortly after that. Every single ad on TV and billboard I saw was what process you go through as far as what the right things are to say to acquire this medicine. So we did pass it out of the House. I did vote for it in the House. I'm very pleased with the narrow scope we are. As far as a whole, though, I am concerned that we really should, and I hope that someday we do, from the FDA and from the federal level, have it classified along with other substances that may be, if this is a situation where it would impair people's ability to operate equipment and things like that. We just need to make sure we're walking a very tight rope on this right now. So I have received some emails from people very excited that, I'm on their side. Well, I'm on the side of people that are sick to get help. That is the side that I'm on right now. As far as a free-for-all, I am not for the free-for-all. And I do think that we are walking a very tight rope and we need to be very cautious. I know that there's going to be a bill filed this next week, I think it is, to ask the University of Kentucky to actually have a cannabis research facility so that we can, if it's going to move forward at the federal level, that Kentucky can be on the forefront of exactly how we can make it the best opportunity for us to get people off opioids, get people off the things that have been so addictive and get them in a safer, healthier place. So I just, I know that he hasn't seen the final version. So in his defense right now, he needs to have the opportunity to have that time because we did change it a lot. I think the end result were maybe 21 versions of this bill before we actually voted on it this past week. So it has really been through the meat grinder, so to speak, and in a good way, in my opinion. But I do think you need to kind of keep in mind, in their defense right now, to ask for something that they haven't even had the opportunity to do their homework. I wouldn't want to put that on him.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Yes.
I just wanted to go back into the cannabis a little bit. That's we're dancing around on eggshells with this. It's not like the information isn't there. There's plenty of studies already been done in Israel and throughout the world on this plant. It's a plant that saves lives. You can look up Josh Stanley on YouTube, and there's an example there of it's a TED Talk about it. But we're talking about financial problems that this state has. And the one thing this state does have is great agricultural ground. And it also has this, it provides medicine, energy, fuel, paper, rope, maps, bricks, oil, paint, and furniture. There are 50,000 commercial uses is a low estimate of it. And when we're struggling with finances and we're in Kentucky, I don't understand it, because everywhere in the world knows that Kentucky is where it grows the best. It grows outdoor here better than anywhere else in the world. And people fear that it's going to be caught up with just marijuana. Well, if you're in Western Kentucky and you grow hemp, your neighbor to the east of you is growing hemp too. He's not growing cannabis because it'll pollinate it. And we can fix so many of our problems that we're facing and help so many people. There have already been over 30 families that have had to go to different places to help their children out because there's Dravet syndrome. It actually helps this epilepsy. It stops seizures. The one girl, Charlotte Figge, was having 300 grand mal seizures a week, and her first week on cannabis, she had 2. And that TED Talk with Josh Stanley on YouTube, you can see this video and watch this young child. She went from being in a wheelchair to now she's functioning at the same level. And the reason they caught all this is because she has a twin sister. They saw her getting behind early, and that was the only solution that they had. But it's saved countless of lives. It's helped many people. And the wonderful thing about it is nobody's ever died from overdose on it. It's not a drug that kills you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your comments, and I'm sure they will keep that in mind as well. Yes, sir.
I have a question for Senator Miles or Senator Mills. How can you talk bad about medical marijuana? Prohibition is dead. It's right in your backyard, right across the Ohio River. Our medical marijuana bill has been stripped. It's the most strict in the nation. And y'all are still talking. When all I got to do is just drive right down the road, go across the bridge, the Ohio River. As a free-born American, I can go in there and purchase smokable marijuana, not breaking the law. But here in Kentucky, y'all, I've been come here for years now, and the same old propaganda, more studies, more this, more that. How long why is Kentucky always last? We're always last. We're begging, sick people are begging and pleading for help, and y'all talk for years now. Just drive across the bridge, Harrisburg, Illinois, the Thrive store. Just go sit in the parking lot. People come and go, old people, young people. There's no crime. There's no argument. Alcohol is the baddest drug on the market, and y'all promote it daily. But yet you fight against sick people wanting safe access to medical marijuana. It doesn't make sense. I appreciate an answer, Mr. Mills.
What was your question again?
How can you be against medical marijuana when legal marijuana is right in your back door?
Right in my bag, in Illinois.
Yeah.
That's legal in the state. It's not federally legal, correct?
It's legal, smokable marijuana.
So how can I be against that?
How can you be against the citizens having safe access to medicine when it's legal right across the bridge? That makes no sense. No sense whatsoever.
Well,
Are we not all Americans? 33 states have it right now. The majority is supposed to rule in this country, isn't it? You know, if you were listening last week when they voted on it, the legislator said 90% of their constituents want this.
Right.
How can you keep denying the people's right?
I personally cannot deny the right, but I am one vote. I am one vote. So that's the answer. When the Senate votes, as the Senate decides to take this up, that will be the answer for Kentucky.
So you're not gonna say whether you're for it or against it?
I will tell you, my biggest concern about us voting on that bill was you all have put me in a position, that bill put me in a position to make medical decisions. I'm not a physician, I'm not a chemist, I'm not a biologist.
Let the
And as
doctor decide.
far as creating a medication that should be, if you go to your pharmacist, this will not be a prescription that you can go to a pharmacist. A pharmacist cannot legally dispense this drug to you.
Well, see,
But all the other
that's my
drugs
point,
that have
man.
been authorized by the FDA have been gone through the studies and everything else. So that is a really big concern for me of what we're doing right now with this.
We've been hearing that for years now, while other states all around us have it.
Then why have they not authorized it at the federal level? Why has FDA not authorized it?
I can't answer the federal government. I live in Kentucky. I don't live in Washington.
I think they will consider all the comments and everything else, and I agree with that. They got to look at everything. It's a one vote. I mean, and again, Senate hasn't still seen the final bill and everything else to even make any comments or at least some decision on that.